Hello, 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 and welcome everyone. Hey, I'm on a roll to this week because this is twice, two times in 1 week
Twice.
for me. Hey,
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm back, you guys. I told you I'm back. I promise you, I heard God's voice speak to me so loud and clear. I won't even say loud, I'm gonna say just quiet, but boom, get
There it
back
is. Good
to it,
stuff.
get back to it. So,
Good stuff.
that is a voice that I really try to listen to. I really I try so hard, especially when it's in my I feel that I can do it. So which is so that's a good thing for me to admit because of tonight's topic. I feel safe with God. Just you created me, you know me, I feel safe. But sometimes I hear that voice in a way that I have to move. And so here we are. Um, Thanks to Brother Trent for joining me tonight. We felt or feel this topic or just this conversation is so necessary because of not just what's happening today or what we're dealing with today, um, and what we're talking about as of right now is allegedly what they're saying that DJ Twitch saying allegedly that he took his life. So I guess I'm saying allegedly because I just have some concerns about what I've heard thus far. And first and foremost, we want to just send out our condolences to his family. You're in our prayers. This is no matter what has happened, this is a tough. So, with all due respect, we're not here to cause any more pain, but these are the times that people tend to listen. Um, But we need to do more than listen, and we need to do more than get on the bandwagon when things happen like this. We need to keep this bandwagon going. We just don't need to talk about these type of things or have these conversations only when things like this happen. We talk about them, we get fired up. In a week or so, I hate to say it,
That's gonna be a wrap.
it'll be a wrap because that's what we do. That's what we do. Nothing is nothing that is consistent works. You have to stay at this thing. You have to stay at life. You have to stand up and get up and be present every day. Not just present outwardly, but present internally. We have to own our shit, y'all. And so I'll just start there. And I'll turn it over to you. Thank you again for doing this tonight.
All good.
Hopefully, we'll be doing a lot more of these together with
All
what we
good.
have going on with the BTG Unity TV. So if you guys didn't join us Tuesday, we kind of talked about what we have coming with the B2G TV. So we're going to be doing a lot more than shows, documentaries, hopefully even a movie, but we're gonna keep that a little
Absolutely,
bit. Yeah,
absolutely,
we'll keep that,
absolutely.
or play, something like that.
Exactly.
Oh, we don't know where we're
Well,
going with that,
the
but more to
piggyback,
come, right?
exactly. The piggyback off of my good friend Tammy, as Tammy Gate out of Memphis. For the viewing audiences from the Conversation fan page to everyone, yeah, I see you guys over in Chicago, all that good stuff. I see Slash down in New Orleans as well. So good stuff, good stuff. But this is the
Ash is
B2G
on with
Unity
us.
TV, Butterfly Evolution, and Tail Kennedy Media combined for better TV together. So this is actually officially the first one. We did one over on Tuesday with Tammy, and she called up for another one, and she was like, "Hey, we got something we need to talk about." So it's kind of serious. It's kind of serious as the whole suicide thing that took place out in Los Angeles. I have my thoughts on it, and Tam managers as well. So we're gonna get into this topic and dig into it. I see you, Slash. Appreciate you for joining us, brother.
So, um, you and I were talking earlier, and I think some yesterday as well. I've heard a little bit more since yesterday, and still, it was really disturbing. But I don't want to. I don't, and I heard some actually on the way home today. And so there's a lot of things that contradicting
Right.
or contradicting towards what I heard initially. So as far as DJ Twitch, I'm going to give my, just again, express my condolences and just say for me, what I've heard thus far just does not add up to suicide for me. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just expressing my thoughts.
You
However,
used the term when you were speaking. You used, is it the milk or something? What did you say?
something in the milk ain't clean. That's something my grandmother used to say all the time.
Something in the
And I
milk
just tell
isn't
my
clean.
grandmothers would say that something in the milk ain't clean. And I would tell you guys, I don't recall a time hearing that where they weren't right, because there's this there was this internal wisdom that our elders had um back then that I don't feel most people possess today, because that takes I don't it does I shouldn't say that. It does not matter what they went through. I will tell you that they in their mind and their hearts, they served a higher power other than
Right.
themselves that I don't believe we serve today. I think we do a good job at touching it, but there was a difference in the way that they served. There was a higher being that they held themselves accountable to, that allowed them to have wisdom, to be knowledgeable and be able to express that wisdom. Which brings me to this about the about mental health and how we have disconnected from people. I was having a conversation on the way home, and I thought about how, in order to, because everybody's saying now, oh, we got to do better, we got to talk to people, we got to be there for people, and we got to do this and we got to do that. But let me ask you, what are you doing? Because I thought about, you can say we have to do this. What are you doing? What have you been doing? And what are you going to do tomorrow? Because what I see when I go out, or let me say this, we are so disconnected from each other, until if you saw me, you don't even know me enough, or know my the way I move, the way I look when things are okay, the way I look when things are not, because we're not connecting.
Right.
We're so disconnected, even from the people that we love, that we wouldn't know that they were hurting if we saw them.
Right.
Because wisdom allows you to see beyond what someone is saying and doing. It allow it when you know someone, when you feel connected, even when they tell you you're okay, they're okay, something's not right here, that they're off.
You
There are
know,
people.
the
Go
problem I
ahead.
have with, in today's climate and society here today, everything's turned into a meme. Everything's turned into a quote. Everything's turned into, everybody speaking through the digital world here. And honestly, with the whole Facebook thing, the whole social media thing, they have a tendency to say friends list and stuff like that. But are these folks are really your friends? And now that this incident, this unfortunate incident, happened with this brother out in Los Angeles, there was a trend that was starting, right? And I think I spoke with you about it. I talked to Slash about it as well. But there's a trend going now. One person talk mental health, they're on it. Now every other post you see is check on your people, check on your people. Well, that's newsflash, folks. I was in a wheelchair for 2 years. I can count on one hand how many people checked on me. Let's just be honest. Let's be honest about it. We really don't know one another anymore. We don't care to know one another. If it doesn't concern us, we don't mess with it.
Mm.
Let's just be real about it. Let's be
And
real about it.
sometimes even if it concerns them, or if it's immediate family, that's why I said, you can say what we need to do. Don't say what we need to do. Tell us what you've been doing.
Exactly.
Tell me what you've been doing. Don't say, now, if you're saying, hey, I get it now, we need to do this, but don't jump on a bandwagon saying what we need to do. Because I'm gonna tell you who's been doing it, and been doing it for a very long time, without a doubt. I'm gonna raise my hand. I'm gonna
Absolutely.
raise my hand because I know I check on people that don't check on me.
Absolutely.
And I'm okay with that. Cause why? That same little voice that told me to get with it, I know my purpose.
Exactly.
So I check on people, I rip and run. So I do. And that's why I'm gonna say this. It pisses me off when we have these kind of situations and everybody now is concerned about mental health. But if we really were, when we're out eating dinner, your phone would be put up. If somebody called you and said, "Let's go out to dinner and have a chat," sometimes you won't even you they might leave and go do what they've been thinking about doing just because
Right.
you didn't take the time to put your phone down to even listen, to connect with them, to hear that something's going wrong, to look at when in this last time you looked in the eyes of someone.
There's a
But we
disconnect,
will
though. There's a
post.
disconnect.
You brought up a good point with the posting. I feel that people post now, and to them that is doing the work.
It's not going to work at all.
Right. It's not, and I think it also makes us not deal with stuff, like
Exactly.
not with our own stuff, because I post and now superficially I have kind of, that's enough. So you're fooling yourself. And the world, in my opinion, teaches us, has taught us that you are not enough, you don't have enough, and you will never be
Exactly.
enough.
Here's the thing. Years ago, and when you said that, you're talking about social media, struck a thought up. I wrote a conversation book. I think it was in volume one or two. I can't remember. But I talked about anyone could actually create an online persona.
Mhm.
Anyone can. But how you serve the people, you have to take it to the people to serve them. You have to take it to them. You have to lead cyberspace and serve these folks, not just online. You have to serve these folks. You can't just go in and say, oh yeah, I said, hey, congratulations. Hey, just checking on you. Through a comment. Pick up the phone.
Mhm. Mhm.
You have to pick up the phone.
Mhm.
I would have loved to have, honestly, you were one of the people that actually called when you found out this took place to me. This took place for me. My phone didn't ring a lot. Didn't ring a lot at all.
Why do you
But
think
and
why do you think people don't do the
it don't
work at
concern them.
reaching out?
It don't concern them first of all. And honestly, let's just be honest about it. People handle things differently. Everyone knew me as this outgoing brother who traveled the country, going abroad, speaking, all this other stuff. To see me in a wheelchair, to see me crippled up, some people couldn't handle it seeing me like that, to be honest with you. So, I'm not bitter toward that, but at least, come on, man, pick the phone up, say, hey, man, how you doing? Everything's fine. I mean, I lost my mother and all this other stuff. But some people can't handle trauma. Some people can't handle tragic. None of that. I'm not giving them an excuse. Some of them can't.
Mhm.
But we have to get a better understanding of one another. Before we do that, we have to get a better understanding of ourselves. Then we can call and I can check on Tammy. I can go check on Mark. I can check on whoever. We have to get a better understanding of ourselves before we even attempt to try and save someone from actually put a bullet in their brain.
I hear that. I hear what you're saying and I get it, but also I'm going to say sometimes that's an excuse that what people can't handle,
Yeah,
because there's always something that you can do. If it's because no one, they don't have to see you in the wheelchair. It could be, hey, I am going to leave something at the door, I'm going to mail you something, or
right,
just sending you positive things that
right,
will help encourage you. So we cannot say, oh no, because that's about me. If I'm
no,
concerned about you, then it's about, what do you want, what do you need, what how can I meet your needs so that I could pick you up, brother, or just help you get up, not pick you up,
but
but how can I help you up? And we've
but
become
we
so
do know. I
selfish.
mean, this is a take me world. So when my
That's
plane crashed, when my plane crashed, all dependents took flight. Again, when my plane crashed, all dependents took flight.
right. And
Go
that's what I was
figure.
going to say. People are so selfish and self-seeking. And yeah, I said it. And I'm not going to apologize for anything I say tonight, because if it pisses you off, then most times you move. Ask someone that owes you some money for the money. most times you get it. They'll get pissed off, but they get it.
Right.
They'll get you the money.
Right.
Same thing tonight. Because again, I've raised my hand. I check on people. I check on people. So my conscience is clear here. I don't need to jump on the bandwagon because my conscience is clear. So
Right.
whatever excuses people make for not checking on people, I remember just thought about this. I remember, and I won't call names, but I remember a lady, a woman who
Mm-hmm.
tried to commit suicide, and she said after, because she tried, but thank God she's still here. She said, I sat, and I believe it was 3 days. She said my phone didn't ring for 3 days, and I knew I did not matter.
Wow.
So yes, could she have picked the phone up and called? And so on the flip side of this, you guys, we have a responsibility to ourselves and the people that we love to pick the phone up and say, I'm not okay. I need to talk to someone. And if it's not someone that you could pick the phone up and talk to and say that, let me, the one, there's,
This is actually a great time to do this and say this to interrupt real quick,
mhm.
because in this me world and the social media world and all that good stuff, you can't get people like you need to. Skip straight over that. You can actually text the suicide hotline 988. Text 988 or call 988 straight from your phone. 988
From anywhere,
from anywhere. Anywhere in the
988.
US. 988.
Okay.
Text, chat, you can chat online, anything. So, if you can't get in touch with anybody, 988.
Okay. I'm
Remember
going to
that
put that
number.
out there so we'll make sure that people see that. Um, Also, it's not, I'm going to say this, I guess, grammatically incorrect. It's not okay. It's not okay to not be okay.
No,
Like
it's not.
everybody, you guys, I live transformation and internal and gaining internal awareness. Like I live it. I'm not lying to you. I
Right.
have to
Here's
keep
the
my
thing.
thoughts
It's
right.
like just like we were speaking on your show on Tuesday, and you asked me a question, and my response was, "Man, everybody has shit. Everybody has some shit. Everybody has something going on. Whether they want to admit it or not, everyone has something going on." But here's the thing to this whole thing about the mental health and everything going different ways. COVID really turned the mirror on a whole bunch of folks.
Mm.
They were forced to deal with themselves. They were forced to deal with themselves, and they did not like what they saw in that mirror. They were forced to handle and deal with themselves. They couldn't do anything else. So this is what all this stuff is a bleed over, in my opinion. All this stuff is a bleed over. They were forced to deal with themselves. They did not like what they saw.
And you think that's maybe what's taking them to that point?
I think so. It's to a breaking point at this point because now you're forced to actually see yourself. That's a hard thing. And Coach D is always talking about on the conversation. You got to be, if you're trying to do the self work, you got to be very prepared to pick up that mirror. Because she does suicide work a lot, especially in the transgender community. She does suicide work a lot. She talk a whole bunch of folks off the bridge. But you have to be prepared to deal with yourself.
And to
I,
not
I had to
and
be
it
prepared.
doesn't feel good. Like it does. There are
No, it's
days,
not a good feeling.
right? I was saying before, like I live. I get up and I read. I look at things that help me understand try to understand where my, I don't like this word, but I'm going to say my issues come from. And even so, in spite of me doing those things, y'all, I get up some days and I'm just not okay. I just don't feel okay. I'm in my feelings, I'm in my emotions. I'm sometimes, why me? Da 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 da.
Let me tell
But
you something, folks. When this lady's in her feelings, she don't pick up the phone for a month. So she has this thing, right? She'll tell me, she's like, she don't pick the phone up, I'll send her some text or she'll leave some crazy message. We've been friends for years, and I tell her, say, I know you're in your prayer closet or something. You're doing something. Just let me know you're okay. That's all.
I'm
But
sitting
me,
right
I'm
across from
very
my prayer
persistent. I
closet,
will
y'all.
call,
I really do have
call,
a
call.
prayer closet. I have a war room. I have to
Yeah,
show you guys. I have to do the show from the war room there.
yeah,
But but it keeps me from losing it, like literally, because life can take you there, especially today.
right.
We're so busy, we're so disconnected, but we're doing nothing. Really, what we're doing and what we're doing it for, there's I see why the spirit is so hungry, because that's not anytime you put money and things before yourself and people, because people will
It's
damn near
superficial
do
living.
anything for money, and or for the things that they want to buy for money. And after a while, your spirit will die, because your spirit needs
Right.
far less than what money can buy. Look what where we are. Look how many
Exactly.
people with money and cars
Mark and I
and
was having a
all that.
conversation. I'm glad you brought that up. Mark and I was having a conversation on yesterday. We were talking about it. I told him about the guy. He didn't even know who the guy was, because a lot of folks didn't know.
Yeah.
So he did his research on whatnot. So he was, we went to talking about my days in LA, right? And so we got to talking and whatnot. But what a lot of people don't know, the majority of folks who watch TV and watch these reality shows and all this good stuff, and idolize these actors and these singers
Mm,
and all that stuff. I lived in LA. I was there in the entertainment business, right? And that actor that made 20 million a year ago, he don't get another movie until 5, 6, 7, 8 years. He's
mm.
living off of that. He's in that big house. He got to deal with that big house. He got to put up this facade and this whole persona. He's got to display to the world that he's still that guy. But he didn't get the job. He didn't get the gig. He didn't get the gig. So he's still working off of that 20 he got off of that blockbuster movie. Guess who's playing with money now? You know what I'm saying? Guess who's having issues now? Guess who can't pay that car note? Guess who can't take care of that house note? Guess who can't take care of those hanger-ons? That comes with a whole bunch of problems.
And more, and also, after all that guessing, what about my status?
Pretty
Uh-oh.
much.
Because I've created, they have this idea of me that's based
Exactly.
on what I've obtained worldly, whether it's the status, the
Exactly.
cars, the house, the fame, the likes.
Exactly.
And
It's a
that's
totally
what I mean when I say, when we put money and things before people and
yeah.
ourselves, man, that's a
Totally different
tragedy
ball
waiting.
game, folks. It's a totally different ball game when you sit there and watch these folks on these movies and listen to these folks on the radio and all that good stuff. Most of these folks, even the singers, I can speak on singers. Most of the singers are living off of touring. That's what we did for a number of years because we signed a bullshit deal. We had to go
Mm,
out and get the money. It wasn't
mm,
coming in sales. Even if we sold 100,000 copies, guess what? It was like we sold 5 copies.
mm.
Getting signed to these 360 deals and losing everything. But you had to put it on his face. And I got to let them know that, hey, I'm still that songwriter. I'm still that guy. No, I'm not. I can't pay my bill. I'm stressing. I'm thinking about doing something to myself.
I don't know how true it is. And again, so I'm trying not to speak on that, because I've not watched it enough. And I just
Right.
found out today that the Ellen show is not on air anymore.
No,
So
it's been
I'm,
canceled for
well,
a
see,
couple
I
of
didn't know
years.
that. I didn't, because
Yeah.
again, I'm truly kind of disconnected from the world when it comes to, I
Yeah,
just, I,
that network money been gone.
yeah, see, I didn't know that, but I heard today from another podcast that I just kind of stopped because it got to be a bit much.
Right.
But this guy was talking about there was some kind of financial issues going on. And he called the name of something, I guess, that's going around in the entertainment world that I guess people had been investing in, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of crashed. Again, that's just what I heard on another podcast, and seemingly he was indicating that
Right.
DJ was part of this, and that there was possibly the financial.
Right.
state was possibly a reason for where, for him taking his life, allegedly. I'll
Right.
say that. Um,
I get it.
and I do believe that a lot of times that people who do take their lives, I think sometimes it may be a feeling that I can't measure up anymore. I
Right.
don't measure up. Going back to what I said about how the world has set us up and we're so distracted from what really matters and what peace, what brings peace. Things never
Right.
bring peace.
At all.
Not the kind of peace that your
At
soul
all.
and your spirit needs. Things never bring peace. They might.
You know what? You know what? I finally got my peace, and I think you know because you know me. When I was placed in that wheelchair, I will never take that for granted again. Never take. The moment I reached the high level of myself, I was in my comfort zone.
Mm,
But I had to get to the wheelchair to get that peace. I've never had no peace like this ever in life. Everything I've done a ton of things, but the life I'm in now, I'm relishing in it. I love it. I
mm,
love my life
yeah,
from my space.
yeah. Same,
Has
and
nothing to
that's, you
do
guys, that's
has
a
nothing to do with
beautiful place
monetary
to be.
things.
Right. That's a beautiful, and I know everybody's different, um, but for me, just because I'm here and I feel like I've also been there, I can tell you that getting up every day,
Right.
like there is, and I'm not saying this to be just, I'm just telling you where I am. There is not a thing I get up and feel like I want or need. I
That higher
feel
level
that
of
I
yourself.
have become that I have become love. And in doing that,
It's a beautiful
I
thing.
have a need to, or desire to fulfill in where I can, to fulfill
Hmm.
the need of anybody that I can do
We,
so
we
for.
have a we have a Facebook user here, Tammy. I don't want to
Where are we here?
leave the users out there.
I'm hearing tonight's discussion. Thank you, Facebook user, by the way, as living in this dog eat dog world filled with the seven deadly sins. Wow. Often alone, sometimes in relationships. People are cruel and selfish. In competition with family, friends, and the Joneses. Yes, there was a recent Bitcoin crash. Okay, maybe that's what I was. They
That's
did
probably
say
what it
Bitcoin,
was.
but they did say, like, I wish I could remember the name. Facebook user, thank you, but you are so.
I think that's Slash. I think that's
That's
Mark.
Slash. Okay, hey Slash, if it's you. If not, thank you guys for listening. But whoever this is so right. Like, and yeah, the seven deadly sins for sure. But you guys, people are, like he said, often alone, sometimes in
Yeah.
relationships. And even when they're not, like I said, pay attention. I've gone out and I would see couples. I guess they're couples, man, woman, or just people. And everybody has their phone out. Like we're out having dinner. I have
Right.
sat and watched people. I remember this one. I was at Broadway Pizza. I will never forget it. Man and a wife, and they had rings on, so I'm assuming they were married. Instead
Right.
of man and a wife, man and a woman, and we sat there the entire time. You guys, they sat. Both of them had their phones out for the entire meal, sitting to the table. So
Right.
just be mindful. So even when we're together, we're disconnected. We're not together.
But the
Go
one
ahead.
thing, the one thing we have to do as a people here, and I'm talking about the human race, period.
Hmm.
The one thing we have to do is commit to do the work on ourselves. We have to commit. If you really want better for yourself, and I'm not talking about monetary things. When I say better for yourself, mental health healthy. I'm talking about a healthy mental. If you really want that healthy for yourself, be honest with yourself and be committed to taking that plunge and going down that road and grabbing that mirror. Like I say on 1,000 platforms over the years. For me, I didn't need the hand mirror. I had to have the full length mirror because I was a mess. I had to have the full length mirror because I was a complete mess. But I was dedicated to being better. I was dedicated to doing better. I've
See, you feel
dedicated to
like
taking
you
care of
had a full
myself.
length. Let me tell you, I felt like I needed the entire room to be mirrored. I'm so serious. I'm
Gotcha,
so
gotcha.
serious. I mean, but again, I think we all need. Some of us may need a handheld mirror. Some of us may need the stand up mirror.
Yeah.
I mean, again, but everybody needs one. That's our point,
And
you guys.
folks,
You
I
have
don't I
to.
don't want folks to think that we're sitting here on the high judges panel.
Right.
No, because we've done the work. We've done the work on ourselves. So we're here having a conversation because this is a topic that bothered Tammy, and Tammy called. She's like, "Hey, we got to do emergency. We got to do
I want to
emergency talk.
share. You just
We got to
reminded
do."
me something.
Go ahead.
Trent, I want to share with you guys this something that happened to me just after Thanksgiving. I got sick. Um, and I'm telling, I don't get sick a lot, but I don't know what I had. I could have had this thing they call COVID. I don't know. Something I could have, I don't know what it was, but I was down. Like I was out for the count. All I did was sleep and get up to go to the bathroom, and I waited like to
Right.
the last hour to do that. Like I had nothing to give,
Waited
and
like
during
to
this
the last
time,
hour to do that. Like
what are you doing, Trent?
I
Will you
had
cut
That's
that?
nothing to
that's me.
eat. Like
That's me.
So
Go ahead.
I did not eat for it ended up being about 7 days. Like I'm serious, I did not eat. I drank water, I drank juice, um, and I didn't have a desire to eat. It was this, I shared this with Brandon and a few more people. It's as if I didn't know what eating was. So, because I never got hungry.
Right.
So, after, and during this process as well, but something happened. And I'm saying this to say sometimes with us dealing with our issues, we need to change our diet. We need to start. There's an entire process. I felt like I was a new person after I started to heal. And then I did not want the things that I wanted before I got sick. But mentally, like the clarity was
Exactly.
so high that I thought, wow. And my eating struggle is I felt has always been one of the last things that I really needed to conquer, because I'll dip and dab. I'll be on the salads and I'll get off and I'll feel good, but I'll get back to the dirty eating. So I wanted to say that because so many things happened, including um, I have a friend that passed away, and she lived in another state. But before, we were friends more back in the day. We kind of lost connection and went our own ways and would talk just a little bit here and there on Facebook, not much at all. I got a message from one of her daughters before she passed away. Said my mom said call her. Well, I intended to call her. I didn't call right away. So this time lapsed. She passed away. So I never
How do
got
you
to
handle
talk to
that?
her because I never called her, right? Intended
That-
to. I'm going to get to it, That's what I told myself. I'm going to get to it. So while I was and of course when I heard that she had passed, I felt like a horrible person. I didn't know she was sick at the time, and so maybe that's what she wanted to talk about. I don't know. I don't know. But while I was sick, I could not get warm. Like I could have, and I had blanket on top of blanket on top of blanket on top of blanket, trying to stay warm. And I had two dreams about my friend, two separate times. The first time in my dream, she came over and she said, I've been shopping and I found some really good deals. And I said, cool. If you go back out and you see something that I like, pick it up for me. Okay. That was it. On her way, she went. Second dream, different time. She comes back from shopping with things for me, things for my grandchildren that she's never met. But she was showing me these things, but she was really, really excited about this beautiful brown blanket that she had found for me. And remember, I'm dreaming this while I'm sick and I'm freezing cold, right?
Right.
And so it was this beautiful brown blanket, beautiful chocolate blanket on one side and a furry beige and chocolate on the other side. Very soft. I mean, I could see it. And she was excited that it was only $5.95. And she said, I was excited and I was cool with it. And she says, okay, well, I'm going to lay down and get some rest. And she literally lay down at my house and I watched her rest. That was a dream. I pondered, do I tell her daughter? Do I tell her daughters? I even asked people, what do you think? Because I don't want to cause them any more pain. Da 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 da. So I decided I'm gonna say something. And I started, I hope this is okay. Well, I said, I hope you guys are okay, but I hope this is okay for me to tell you. But I thought about it and I would want to know. So I gave the story. One of her daughters came back with a reply and said, thank you. She says, my mom had taken up bargain shopping. I didn't know this. She said, my mom had fallen in love with blankets. I sleep with my mom's blankets now. And
Wow.
she said, my mom's favorite color is brown. All this happened. Remember, brown blanket is what she
Right.
gave me. All this happened while I was sick, not eating, um, cold forever. And I'm saying this to say, I feel that there's always, that things like this always happens. We're just not here to hear them and see them and receive them because we're so busy. We're
But you know
so
what you know what I find you're speaking of clean eating, but I find like when you go down that journey for clean living,
mm,
that's how it started for me, clean living, which turned into clean eating, which turned into clean everything. So
clean
now,
spirit.
exactly, now I cannot deal with nothing toxic, like nothing that's going to disturb my peace, nothing that's going to disturb any regiment that I'm on, any clean diet, everything. That's where it starts, man. And when you do the clean lifestyle, you have to detox everything.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
to detox everything.
Yeah. So, and even taking time to back away, and I know this may sound crazy, but because we're telling you to check on people, and I should say this because for me, Trent said that I will go into my prayer closet and
Oh,
I
that's
don't
real
I don't
talk.
answer my phone. I don't deal with people. That's my thing. Like I
For
need
months, folks. For months.
shut
I'm
up,
being
Trent.
petty right now. For months.
But that's what
Months.
I need. There are some people who need to be around people. Their fix is being around people. So you got to know your fix. You got to know what
Mhm.
heals you or what you need to be motivated out of your funk. And it's okay to not be okay. I
Exactly.
cannot say that enough. You are it's necessary sometimes to not be
Exactly.
okay and to find out why am I not and deal with
Exactly.
that
But you
because
know,
that's when you grow the most.
you
That's when
you
you
have to
heal the
you have to
most.
know your friends. You have to know your friends. We've known each other for a number of years, and I know your patterns. So when something's wrong, really wrong, you know me. I mash on that phone until you pick up. I'll say something crazy to make you call back,
He will.
just to know that,
He'll hang up and call and then hang up and call and hang up and call. Then he'll take a point
just
of order.
want to
I
know
said,
that she's
please
okay,
stop calling me.
just to know that she's okay.
Yeah.
And in situations like this, in this turbulent time that we live in, we have to be that persistent with our friends. We have to
Hmm.
be.
Hmm.
You never know what's going on. You
Hmm.
have to be persistent. If you truly care about a person, make that call. Call them. Hey, hey, just checking these traps. What's up? That's it. Don't even have to be a long, drawn out conversation at all.
And then
Just check on them. Just
do
call.
you feel that people also we haven't talked about this, but do you feel that people also feel okay that one people are just not available and they don't care, but also that they will be judged if they say, "Hey, I'm tripping. I'm having these thoughts. I'm not okay." Do you think that people feel safe enough to go to people and have that conversation where they say, "Hey, I feel like I don't want to be here anymore."
you have to be a good friend to get them to feel comfortable with you. That's just like what with you and I, right? I'm gonna get a little personal here for a second.
I know what you're
Tammy and
getting ready to
I,
say. I know what you're getting ready to say.
Tammy and I had started
Okay.
this network, and
Okay.
she got me all excited. And here's the crazy thing about this, right? I called Tammy from the rehabilitation center when I was blind. I was blind and paralyzed, and I told her I was told all roads lead through to Memphis. All roads lead through Memphis. And I picked up the phone and I called. I had somebody dial a number, call, and I'm talking to her in a rehabilitation center, right? And I told her exactly what was told to me, and I told her exactly what was going to take place and how it was going to take place, and it took place right here, right now. This is what was told to me. Everything that we're doing, this was what told to me. She was going to be the one to bring me back to podcasting. She was going to be the one to get me out of that wheelchair. She was going to be the one to get me moving. I was instructed to call this woman. So
At the time
now
you were
all
sick. At the time you were sick as well. So
I was
that
sick.
height needed you.
I was paralyzed and blind. I was in a rehabilitation center. I couldn't even walk. Couldn't eat. Somebody was feeding me. Somebody was bathing me. But they said all roads lead through Memphis. Call Tammy. So I made the call, and we talked. We talked. I told her where I was and what was happening, all this other stuff. But
Okay.
this is what I need to do. So we did it. She did it. She helped walk me right along with it and life coached me through this whole thing, this whole process, right? Then she drops the ball. Now she'd have got me on camera and convinced me to do this. And I was worried about people seeing my left side, and
I dropped
I'm
the
partially
ball.
paralyzed now. I was worried about it. And she coached me, to get past that insecurity, all that stuff. Then she drops the ball.
I dropped what ball?
So the whole network. So now I'm getting to a point here. I'm getting to a point.
Okay.
So that whole thing about checking on your friends. So I called them, calling. Oh, what's up? What's up? What's up? And I called her and I called her out. I was like, hey, man, that's not even like you, but what's up with this? I just pretty much went at it. That's how I'm saying that. I said that to say that's how you have to go at your friends because we go at one another like that. If I go into a shell, she'll
That's
do the same
not
thing for
what
me.
happened, y'all.
Ah, get
I
out of
thought you
here.
were gonna tell them but I still did what I wanted to do. I mean, I won't say what I wanted to do. See, I get what you're saying, and I appreciate that. But I
Right.
was at a point where I'm not gonna until I know I'm ready, unless I hear the voice that I heard that brought me back now. So trust me, it wasn't
Exactly.
Ruth's voice. I thought you were gonna tell them about me telling you, okay, so what?
Oh
Basically,
yeah, I was getting
that's
to
what I
that.
thought
So
because
through this
I
whole
know.
process,
Okay,
I was not well. I was not doing well at all. And she would, started this whole thing, and now I've been podcasting for years and top years, and I wasn't doing it back with the video section of it. It was all broadcasting over the years, so I wasn't prepared for that because I was a different Trent. So the moment I touched him, man, I can't even move the left side. What are you talking about? I can't even do this. What are you talking about? She said, "You going?" She always called me sucker. Sucker, you gonna do it? You gonna do it? I said, "What are you talking about?" So I had a nurse before I hired this other nurse. She would sit me up before the show. She'd do 12 hours. Sit me up. I would broadcast with Tammy.
you missed the
Nope.
entire thing about you feeling some kind of way because I told you, like, when you were telling me that I'm sick, I can't do this, I can't do that, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah. Well, so I'm telling her I was sick. I couldn't do this, and she was
I
like,
had a
"What?"
stroke, I
And
can't lift this arm, and I was like,
she was like, "Okay, nothing wrong with you." I'm like, "This woman crazy." I'm like, "This woman is crazy. She is crazy." She was very persistent, so she didn't allow me to get in the space to where I was feeling down on myself.
because, and let me say this, and it goes back to, you have to know, there's some people I would never have did that with, but I felt that I knew you enough to know what I needed to say, because I could have had the pity party with you,
Right,
and we probably would have still been pitying, if that's a
right,
word. But I know that that wouldn't not be the I felt, let me say that. And I really do consider that I think that I stay in my war room enough to where I can hear and be discerned. Not all, I don't always get it right, but with him, I
Right.
thought,
Right.
we're not gonna have this pity party. We don't have time for
Well,
this.
that did.
Kind of
That
like what
did.
you did when I stepped back. Like you finally got to the point where you was like, what's up with you? What is going on? So we do have to know, but also, and I think that comes with again silence in your life, having discernment about
Yeah.
yourself first,
Yeah.
so that you can also be discerning, have a discerning spirit when to know when people are going through something. Like
Exactly.
you should be out shopping, I mean I've had those encounters in the grocery store.
Right.
Um but again, that's just my story. That's just me. It doesn't have to be
But
in the
the point
grocery store for you.
I
It
was
can
trying
be
to
in your
drive
home.
home. I was trying to drive. You have to know your friends. If you're saying these people are your friends, you have to check on them. You have to know when to mash the gas or pump the brake. Just like what Tammy just said, she knew exactly what was up with me. She knew that she could speak with me that way. She knew that she was going to trigger something in me once she said, nothing wrong with you. All she was doing was activating Trent again.
Right, right, right. And you have to know. And if you don't know, ask
We
God,
got a
ask
comment.
the
What's the
creator.
comment there?
Huh?
Got a comment. What's that comment? I
Yeah,
can't see it.
I read that earlier.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I read that one earlier, and I had another one out there. That is Slash. I think that's Slash, right?
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he told us. Let's see, we got some more here. Um, I think that is Slash. Okay. So you guys feel free to send your comments, your questions. If you know something that we've not talked about that will bring some clarity, um, to boss, to Mr. DJ. Again, condolences to his family for the loss. I hope that we get some more answers
Yeah.
about this because I feel that it really is needed.
And
But
again,
more,
I'll share that number again
okay, let me put it out there. You said,
for the folks who are friends or truly friends, and if you just lazy about calling your friend, send them a number, man. 988. SMS text 988. You can chat it. You can actually call 988 from your cell phone. Boom, it's there. 988. Is someone there available to help and speak with you? Suicide hotline. So if you're that lazy friend and you know something's wrong with your friend, but oh, just like Tammy said, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll get to it tomorrow. Shoot the text to the girl. Shoot the text to your friend. 988. Hey, I can't get to you right now, but 988 is the number.
yeah, we just got to stop wanting to always feel like we need to be entertained.
Exactly.
Conversation, communication. My why. What is the question you asked on the conversation with Trent about? What do you ask? I think we were talking about relationships, but
Mhm.
all relationships. Not just your boo. But what is the question? I think it was like, what do you look for? What are the things that you need?
What are the things you need from your friendship, from your partner, from your business partner? What are the three things, the three top things you need? I'll start it here. Compassion, compassion, communication, and openness. Compassion, communication, and openness. If you're open with me, you're gonna be honest with me.
Hmm.
If you're compassionate enough, you're gonna call me.
Hmm.
If you
And
communicate, you're gonna understand me. That calls
mine
for a
is
great friendship.
communication, communication, and communication.
Communication. Exactly, exactly. But we have to get out of this whole. That's some news flash, folks. Do not comment in that in a comment under the conversation page. Hey Trent, how you doing? And if you know me personally, I will not answer you. Call me. Call me.
Same,
Text
same,
me.
same with me. I mean, you guys, I have seen people post stuff on Facebook, and it's just I won't call names, but it just didn't sound right, or they'll say just something. And me, I don't put it out there. I'll send a private message. Number one, because I just don't feel like anybody needs to know that I'm reaching out to someone.
Exactly.
Um,
If it's done
I'll send,
authentically.
well, I'm saying I think for me, and I'm not always right. I like to make it personal because, and I don't need everybody to know that I'm reaching out to this person.
Pretty much.
So I send it privately. I'll say, hey, you need to talk. I'm here. Call me, whatever, whatever.
Hmm.
Sometimes just that is enough for people. Like, thank you because you didn't. It's easy to post and hey, everybody's gonna see this da 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 da. For me, I'm very private with that because again, people we're so quick to judge, and I feel that it's more genuine that it's kind of like people when people are fasting, they want everybody to know that they're fasting,
Right.
that kind of
But if
thing.
it's a true fast, you won't say nothing.
Right. But they're looking for something for that. And I've been there, done that too. They're looking for some type of, people need to feel valued, heard, seen, acknowledged. And because we're so disconnected, there's not that. Like, we're not having those encounters, personal encounters where we feel like, hey, you get me. It's this thing I like to say, or I won't say like to, but I always feel that it's important for people to hear so that they understand. Someone can ask you today, a family member can ask you, hey, can I borrow $10? $10. $10. And we'll say no. But if they pass away, we'll spend $100 on a suit to go to the funeral.
Saying it back to the people head.
What $10? $10. Is it gonna break you? $10. But we do that. We will not talk to someone. We will not, because of whatever. Oh, I don't like that person. We got into it. They will pass away.
Here's the thing, and I'm not making excuses for folks, but we get so caught up with life to where we become immune to people and things that happening to people. So we've become the society where it doesn't pain me to see someone else suffering.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? And that's truly sad. And we have to get back to, if I see my friend suffering, it's gonna pain me. That's
yes.
like I say, for instance, like for Mark, right? Slash. No one knows until right now how close Slash and I are. No one knows until now, until I just spoke it. That guy and I are so close, so cool. He checks on me, I check on him, and we don't even see each other like that. And he knew I had a different ability, and I was setting up the new studio here at the house. And I told him, hey, I need some help because certain things I can't do. I'm limited on some things. That brother stayed up with me until 2 in the morning to put this equipment together. Hadn't seen Mark in years,
Mm,
but we always checked on one another. That's a friend. That's a friend.
mm.
That's a friend. We've done a ton of business together, worked on a ton of records together and everything. But when his brother was in need, he was here. Period. And that's just like it's always. But a lot of folks don't even know that Mark and I are close, that close.
Mm,
We don't have to talk about our relationship because we know what's up with each other. That's what I call a friend. That's what I call brother's keeper.
mm.
That's what I call a brother's keeper. So he and I rarely talk on social media unless it's about the conversation. We don't talk nothing personal on social media. But I know he got my back and he know I got his. This is what I'm talking about when we talk about superficial living. Society has actually placed us in this box where we all in this superficial box. And this is the box that we're speaking from.
You made me think about something that happened to me a long time ago. I shouldn't say happened to me. I guess it happened to someone else, and I kind of got involved. but it brings the point to where people really do feel disconnected from the people who are in their lives every day. So I
Right.
was introduced to this lady. Her name was Miss Rose,
Hmm.
and by my godmother, Miss Earlene. I This particular night, I had decided I'm tired. I'm going to get in the bed right after work. So it was about 6 o'clock p.m. I had taken my shower, climbed up into bed, lights out. My phone rang, and it was this particular lady, Miss Rose, that I had just recently met. And
Right.
this phone call was to tell me, my husband just passed away. Can you come? And I thought, can I come? I don't know your husband. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know your husband. I just barely know you. That's what I did say that to her, but that's what I'm thinking in my thought process. I got up. I did get up, and I did go. But I must say I was curious. And later I asked her, why I don't know your husband. I ended up calling other people, other friends, said, hey, can you go? I was having Bible study in my home at that time. So I called a
Hmm.
few of them and said, hey, can you go with me? Because I felt like if you're calling me, something's going on. You must not have anybody. So we did go. But I'm saying that to say this lady was much older than me. She had a church. She did not work, and I'm assuming she had friends and family. But I was the first person that she called.
That means you left a great impression on
But she said that later when she said, I knew you would come.
them. Exactly.
And I'm gonna tell you guys, I didn't want to. I wanted to rest that night.
Can you
It was
imagine?
my desire to rest.
Can you imagine the great loss she felt that she reached out to someone she rarely know to
Right.
come and to bring her comfort?
Right. I couldn't imagine. I tried to process what was her life like. What is your life like if you had to call someone that you just met this week? But
Right.
on the flip side of that, I was grateful that God put me in her life, because what if
Exactly.
He had not allowed our paths to
Exactly.
cross in that way? I'm sure there would have been someone. And sometimes we call and people will come, but are you coming with the right spirit and a
That part.
desire to help and make this as best it can be?
Exactly. We got a comment over there, Tammy.
Got a comment over there. What we got? Let's see. What we get. Though the world has expressed, this is writing is so little that men have, I guess he's saying that men have evolved. We were raised around men that were the strong, silent type. They didn't ask, are you good? Being a provider was the top priority back then. We've adapted and changed in present days and times. Um, hmm, hmm.
I see
You know
Will's telling
what?
us your thoughts on that.
I get that, but I feel back then that it was almost an unspoken language about being okay, because men what men did and how they lived were different
Right.
back then. Like they worked, they took, I'm not saying men don't do that now, but they did it in a different way. I can remember my grandfather always having men around, whether they were talking business, they would sit out on the porch and
Right.
play checkers all day. And in that time of playing checkers, they talked, they communicated.
Right.
And I think
But
that's what I mean by an unspoken language. And then that talking and that time together left people feeling like, I'm not here alone. I got a brother. I have a culture here, an unspoken culture maybe, but there was connection, which is why I think there was less suicide
right.
that
I think
happened.
Mark was actually commenting to my comment about our relationship.
Oh, about you guys' relationship? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
All right.
I truly believe that as far as far as men, especially African Americans, man, I can speak on them because I'm one of them.
Hmm.
Um, we tend to not want to feel soft, but I don't worry about that. I've always been a person of compassion, very compassionate about people. And if my
And we'll
brother look
cry
like
in a
he's in,
Jack Bennett minute.
what'd you say?
We'll cry in a Jack Bennett minute.
Exactly, you're right.
But
And
I mean, I like
there's
that.
that to me there's nothing wrong with calling your brother, making sure he's good, and if you look at the if he's looking and appearing to be distressed, I do it in public. Hey man, you straight? You good? We've gotten away from that as African American men. We've gotten away from that, but that's a manly thing. If you guys want to know, that's a very manly thing.
So we have you and we have Slash on here as well, and I'm sure more men. I'm glad you guys brought that up. Glad he made the comment so that we could go there. Do you? Because there've been a number of black men committing suicide, women as well, but because we just had allegedly another one take his life. Um, what do you feel? What can we do as I'm coming from from as women, what can we do? Because let's face it, there is a difference in the way that our black males are seen in this world versus any other male race.
As I spoke on a conversation about this box that society has placed us in, this whole angry black man, this whole emotional black man, non-emotional, all this other stuff, all this box that they placed us in. We have to work our way out of that box that society placed us in.
Mm.
We have to. We have to stop speaking from that box. That box does not define you. That box does not define me. I carry my own dictionary. I define me. So we have first we have to deal with self again. There's
Okay.
that whole thing again, dealing with self. We have to deal with self. But we have to stop speaking from the box that we were placed in.
Do
That's where
you
the
feel
work
that men
begins.
need to do more connecting? I asked, what could we do?
What
And
can women do?
But I think I need to flip that because that'll turn this into a whole. I think men need to do more connecting and collaborating on a level. Like I mentioned, I remember, gosh, the conversations. I just remember hearing the conversations with my grandfather and the friends after work.
Yeah, find you some. Here's the
Some good
thing.
homies.
Exactly. You got to find some great people to be around. I wrote a quote. It's funny that you would bring this up. Let me pull this quote I wrote up maybe a couple of weeks ago. The quote, and I haven't even published it yet, but it reads: "The higher level of yourself the higher level of yourself dictates who's around once your elevation take flight." So if you're at a higher level of yourself, that's what's going to dictate who's around you. That's what's going to dictate. So if you're around folks that not thinking on your level, that's a problem. If you're around folks that don't have compassion, if you don't have folks that are not considerate, that's a problem. Your higher level should always dictate who's around you. So that's the goal, reaching the higher level of yourself. The higher level of yourself. Once you reach the higher level of yourself, everything's gonna come to you. The brothers that you need around you, the sisters that you need around you. But
Yeah,
you
don't
have
be
to do the
afraid to
work.
change your circle, people. You need to
Exactly.
evaluate. I
You have to
love.
do
I
the
guess
work.
you do. You have to evaluate, and it doesn't mean that people there's something wrong with them, but you can't travel in the same car
No, you can't.
going to
You
two
can't.
different. Like if you're going to California, someone's going to I guess North Carolina.
Let
It'd
me
be
get a little
crazy.
transparent here for a second. I'm gonna show you how
Yeah.
serious this is, and this is for the viewing audience. When I became ill, when I fell ill, paralyzed and blind, I removed myself from my brothers for a year and a half because they were not going where I'm going. They were not going where I was going. I removed myself. I cut all connection, cut all ties.
Mm.
It was detrimental to my health because at that time, it was very critical that because I had a bleed on the brain. I could not afford stress, anything. One stress, another bleed, pop, I'm gone. I couldn't afford it. I had to remove myself from them.
And not everybody knows that you had also, before that, lost. Tell them before all that had happened.
I lost my mother 6 months before that happened to me, and my brother 7 months before that. So my brother gone 2 months and 10 days later. My mother left.
And
Then
he
six
was
months after
the
that,
caretaker for his mom.
exactly,
So that's a
exactly.
lot. So you tell me about not being okay. Like that's enough to make you not okay for a long time.
But
Um,
something that you brought up on your show on Tuesday that I did with you, right?
mhm.
And we were talking about doing the work. God did a thing in me over 20 years ago. And when you told me, he was like, no, Trent, you can't say that. It's easy because you already had the tools to get through, get over what you got through. It didn't dawn on me until you said it that I'd acquired the tools over the years, all those speaking engagements, coming in and out of Memphis, all over everywhere. But I'd acquired the tools to get to this point to where I could actually stand 10 toes down and believe and say it. This is what it is. I acquired those tools over the years, so that this is not a cakewalk for me. This has not been a cakewalk for me, but this is what's so funny about that. Everything I had written from 20 years, 15 years, God started bringing that stuff back to me in memories on Facebook. And everything I had written back then, I wasn't even going through that. I'm going through it now. I went through it.
Mm,
God was preparing me. He prepared me to get out of that wheelchair
I like that.
because He gave me the tools to get to where I needed to be. I am where I am in my purpose. I am living in my purpose. I thought my purpose was the bomb when I reached over 100,000 people, where I was reaching 100,000 people a week. But that wasn't it. That wasn't it because I wasn't ready for it. That wasn't it.
Mm,
This is it. The time is now. So I said that to say you have to go through it, and you have to surround yourself with people who's going to better you, who's going to bring their chisel when your chisel doesn't work, meaning that personal chisel. So
okay,
that's
so
why
we
I
have
keep people like Tammy around me and all that good stuff because she got personal chisel. Sometimes my chisel don't work. But go ahead,
mhm,
Tammy. I'm sorry.
mhm. Well, we have Slash said, "What can the sisters do?" I have a question. Have we ever heard a woman belittle what a black man did at work? The competitive relationship between brothers. Okay, he's still writing here. So between brothers and sisters cuts with her tongue, forgetting that many a brothers has the weight of the world on his shoulders, trying to navigate his way in this racist, oppressive world. The old heads would say, man's fact, trying to keep the man's foot off the back of our necks,
Right.
which is daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. I get it. I get it. Let me put these
Yeah.
out there. I get it, which is why I asked what could we do. I That's another topic that we have discussed and probably need to
Yeah.
discuss more. But I'm just gonna be honest, most ladies don't want to hear it. Like we
Exactly.
don't
Here's the
want to
thing.
hear where society, I don't we it's like we don't understand. We got to really look at this thing and study this thing to see how society has caused us to separate.
Exactly.
And we talk about God. We pick the verses that we want to honor. You if you just mention the word being submissive, we will contradict every part of it. um But on the flip side of that, we want our man to love us as Christ loved the church.
Well,
We
let
There's
me,
work to be done everywhere, you guys. I'm
yeah, let
not
me,
perfect, but I'm gonna tell you, let me say this: I've changed enough to where when I heard the word, I'll just go back to what I said earlier. I have become love. I can't not love the people that I don't even like. I wish I
right,
could. So we have to become love. When you become love, you will love your man. If you have not become, you'll love your
right.
woman. I ain't gonna leave us out because men got some work to do. But I'm just going by what brother Mark put out there about this particular question. Ladies, let me tell you, we can do better. We can do better. Sometimes, rather than saying get you a war room. I have to go in there and be like, Lord, help me not
But how
be
we
who
do
I
that?
used to be,
This is
not having a
how we do it is we go to our prospective corners because I don't look to a woman to build me up. I really don't because we're in a desolate place, and their thought process and their thinking at times are crazy to me. So I'd rather do the work on myself, come back when I fix myself, and I'll help you fix you. So I don't, and I'm not saying that I'm a holier than thou, none of that stuff. I just don't have the patience and the time for foolishness. So if I know that situation is a desolate place, it sits in a desolate place, I'm not going to waste too much time on that
and
because
I
time is
agree.
short.
If you are if Well, it doesn't really have to be about the person. I think Mark mentioned like the workplace, like just
Right.
day to day,
Just day to
the
day,
way we speak
period.
to our brothers, our fathers, our
Yeah.
sons, especially our husbands, you know. And they owe us the same. We owe everybody. We owe people that, to be loved and to be at least respectful and not judgmental. And you can't, I don't know how not to love the people I love. Like I said, even when I don't like them, there are people right now that I wish I could.
Here's
I
the
will
thing,
say that.
man.
I'm just love.
We lack the ability to detach. I'll
What do you
say
mean?
again for the
What do you
people in the
mean?
back. We lack the ability to detach from
From
people.
people?
Yeah. Sometimes you have to detach, man. You have to. For the betterment of yourself. You have to. And it's gonna sound harsh, it's gonna sound cold, but that to save the relationship, to save the friendship, to save all that, sometimes you have to detach. Sometimes you have to leave a person sitting in silence with their thoughts. We lack the ability to detach. We really do. We lack the ability to call people on their shit. We lack the ability to hold people accountable.
I agree with that. We got to mark. I think this is, yeah. So to I'm not gonna read it off of there. That's too little. Can you see that?
I can't. I can't.
Go. You can. So he
It
says
says,
to go ahead. Go
"Go
ahead.
ahead."
Now you go if you can read it.
No, I can barely get to it.
To communication is not, I guess he said communication is not the key. Understanding goes hand in hand because 90% of communication is nonverbal. The understanding, well, I think that's the problem because when it's you can misinterpret nonverbal communication, and you have to know someone to understand it better, the nonverbal. Like I do agree that nonverbal communication is nonverbal. um it should not be 90% because we should be communicating more for understanding, but I get what you're saying. So I'm
Right.
going to start again. Communication is not the key. Understanding goes hand in hand because 90% of communication is nonverbal. The understanding that we brothers and sisters need one another. To notion, build, love, and raise kids that look like us. um I feel like you only need that if you want that. I don't feel like you should need that because you think society says that's what you're supposed to do and have. I think that's the first issue when we get to the
Right.
point of, relationships and things like that. I think some people just think, "Oh, this is what I'm supposed to do." That means the world has instructed you and advised what you should do. And then we have people who get into whole adult relationships, still children, and then they have children. That's a disaster. That's a recipe for
Right.
disaster. And then
But
when
it's
you don't
there's
have
15.
communication on top of that, it's a wrap. But
Right.
I don't know if I misinterpret what you said. Communication, communication, communication for me.
Right. It's 15 after the hour. Let's circle back to the. It's not okay to be okay. I think we circle back to
Right.
that. That's 15
I'm
after.
I'm good. I'm good with I can leave it here that it's okay. Again, I'll say to not be okay. It's not okay for you to decide, and I'll stick to this, that it's time that you don't matter anymore.
Right.
Because if you to hell with who you matter with on the outside, do you matter to you? Do your loved ones matter to you? There's always someone to call. Always. If it's not your friend, if you don't have it, we put it out there. There's always someone to call. Seek the counseling. Do what you
Exactly.
need to do. I had
Again,
this thing where you guys, I used to slam cabinets. That helped me. Y'all probably think I'm crazy as hell, but I don't care because whatever it took and it takes for me to keep moving forward or from where I am stuck at that moment, I'm gonna do it. If it doesn't harm anybody and myself, I'm gonna do it because I want to live for my grandkids. I want to live for me. I want to live for my life. I want to experience this side until the creator says, okay, now it's time for you to come on.
right.
I don't want to make that choice.
But it's very important that you have a very supportive support system in place. You have to put a support system in place. If you feel an extra, you have to put a support system in place. People that's going to support you, people that's going to be there for you,
Hmm.
and you there for people. So you can't be living these superficial lives, man, and expecting someone to call and talk you off the ledge. You're surrounded by superficial people. Nobody's going to do that. You cannot surround yourself with superficial things and superficial people thinking that they're going to be there for you. I
But
did
if
that
do you
and hit
believe
that.
that if you do you believe if you are surrounded by superficial people that you are too, or you just afraid to move
No, I
to
was. I was.
change?
I was surrounded. I surrounded myself around superficial people because I was a superficial person.
Okay.
Ended up being by myself going through this. Get it?
Yeah.
So all these people that I was doing things for, it was fine when I was doing it for. But again, when I said earlier on in the program, when my plane crashed, all dependents took flight.
Hmm.
All
So
dependents took
let's
flight.
give them. So we'll get ready to bring it up. I didn't realize it was this late. Let's give some things that if someone is feeling, we've already put the number out there, but we talked about the eating, some ways because depression. I think some of us are one meal away. If we change our eating habits just a little bit, just a little bit to start. He's
Yeah.
gonna say totally, but
Yeah.
but some people just can't go cold turkey with it. So
Right.
you can start with, hey, one day a week, I'm not going to drink any sodas. I'm not gonna that kind of thing. I'm gonna have salads. I'm gonna have baked food, things like that. One day a week, and
One of
gradually
the
move
most
forward. Get a support
what
system. Hmm.
exactly one of the most important things personally for me, if you don't know how to do it, find out how to do it. Or you can actually reach out to me. You see the number above my head, just call me. And I'll teach you how to do it. Center yourself. Meditate the proper way. Center yourself. You center yourself, everything else is going to line up. Everything is going to align the proper way. Then the clean eating will follow and it will flow. The clean lifestyle will follow, it will flow. But you have to center yourself before you do any of those things, before the support group, anything, before you gather all these good people around you. You must be a good person first. And the only way you're going to
Um,
get to that good person is centering yourself.
I want to throw out, and I need to do better with this because this is what I do. My life really took a turn when I found out what my life languages are, in descending order. And that was I was already in the process, but I was so there was a time where I was so depressed. You guys, I don't know if I said this tonight, but be honest with you, I've had the thoughts that if this is what life is, I'm so over people and this bullshit. I have been there. And the only person, and God had to know this, because the only person that mattered to me at that particular time, I felt that God wasn't enough at that time, because I felt honestly that you've let me down. Let's
Wow.
keep it real. The person that pulled me out of my hell, when I say literally pulled me out of my hell, by sticking a note under the door that said, "I love you, mom," as if he
Right.
knew my thoughts. He
Right.
literally put a heart with a little cupid thing and said, "I love you, mom." I was willing to come back into this hell of a world for him.
And that was your
So
support
there's
system right there.
always a why. Like, why do I need to be here? If not for me, for my child. Imagine what life looks like to a mom, or would be for a mom or a brother or sister or child. But those same people, mom, brother, sister, aunt, cousins, friends, you have a responsibility as well to make sure that people don't feel like they don't matter. We have that responsibility. We all have a shared responsibility. So I'm going to say start trying to eat better, meditate, pray, walk, run, get out and I guess experience a different thing. I don't know, a sport, whatever. Change your circle, or look or review your circle. Do some
Take
inventory.
inventory.
Right.
Take inventory.
Take inventory. And,
Take
and and
inventory.
and get someone, say something to someone, say, "Hey, I want to know if I feel any kind of way," because if you think, "Oh, I won't ever feel like that." Life can happen.
Life can happen.
Life
It
can
can definitely
happen.
happen.
And so if you say, "Hey, if in light of what's going on, I want to make sure that I have someone, if I get in my head, I can call you and say, I'm in my head."
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
say, "My brother, my sister, I'll be that for you." We should all do that. Matter of fact, I'm going to make sure I have that person in my life. I'm going to make sure. I
Again,
had
for
this thing with
anybody,
Brandon where he could call me. I told him in college, because you know how young folks get when
right?
they go to college, said, "You can call me and say, I don't need to talk to my mom. I need to talk to Tammy. I'll just be Tammy for that moment. But mama will come back later and we'll have the discussion. I'll just direct you as if you are not my child, whatever.
Exactly.
I'll help you out. We'll get move through it, and then we'll talk about the situation." And he's had to
So
do
for the
that.
right. So
So
for the viewers, if anyone who's going through it, if you feel you don't feel like you could talk to anyone, if you can't get the 988 number, text it, call it, whatever. But you could actually call me personally, 504-677-9733. That's Taylor Kennedy line, 504-677-9733. And it's only for folks who, if you're having an issue, man, if you need to talk, or you just need to text. I
what
respond. It
he's
take me a
saying,
little
don't
time, but
send him any what you're saying, don't send me any googly eyes, right?
nah, I don't want that. I don't want that.
Hook up eyes.
No, I don't want that. I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah, same here. And mine is listed out there on my page, but 901-431-3071 Messenger as well. Probably a little bit Messenger is probably not the best thing. Really, text is for me. I'll be very honest. My phone goes on do not disturb at a certain time at night, and that's just
that.
what it is. So
Well, that's basically a good time to just speak a few minutes, little few minutes about what we're doing here,
okay.
if I would, if I can. So, B2G Unity TV is a spot. BTGUnityTV.com is a spot. That's Butterfly Evolution and Taylor Kennedy Media combined for better TV together. Better TV together. And this is the type of stuff, this is the type of content that we're actually pushing. The conversation is still intact. Everything's still going well with that, and we're still doing that Wednesdays and Sundays. But I'm trying to get Tammy to push it out because the folks was looking for it. They need that. They need her out there. They need that energy out here.
Trying to get me to do
So
what?
trying to get you to come back out there and push that content that you
I'm
normally
here.
push. And stop trying to get you to push it,
And
push,
I was
push.
here Tuesday.
You know what? I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. That's what a supportive, healthy person says. She's been here. She's back, y'all.
She's
Don't
back.
You're not
She's
trying
definitely
to get
back.
me to come back. I'm back.
She's back. She's back. She's back. She's back. So B2GUnityTV.com. You'll be able to actually watch stream shows. You'll be able to set up, sign up. We're actually going to do another show where we're actually streaming from the website, B2GUnityTV.com, where you guys can sign up, come in and check out that show. We're going to be talking about grief. We're talking about grief. You guys can sign up for that. And we're going to stream live from the website along with the Roku stick. So good stuff, good stuff, good stuff.
You know,
B2GUnityTV.com is the spot.
and we're gonna get
I'm
ready to
sorry.
close, you guys. But when you mentioned the word grief in the show that we're gonna be doing soon, you guys, change and transformation and growing, healing is grief. There for some, for me, there was grief in that. It was a dying of self. Um, that happened for me to the point where I started to grow to a point where I felt like I was losing the person that I knew and had become, even the pain and the feelings. And so maybe we should kind of talk about not just grief as it relates to losing a person, because there are we will do
There's a
that too,
number
but
of
there
groups.
are a number of
Yeah,
person who's lost, who feel lost. They've
yeah,
disconnected from themselves.
yeah.
So we have another comment. I don't want to miss anybody. So
I
let me
think we
see.
could we could close on that. Look like that's gonna be a good one.
So let's see. Tammy and Mr. Epic, you both went or go into your cocoons. Oh, you do it too, huh? The Isley said, "Life is for the living. The world is cruel, but there is beauty in your life and the lives you are both a part of. Thank you for sharing your journeys and for ongoing paths." Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's
Namaste,
real.
brother.
I'm telling you, the
Namaste.
struggle is real. Again, like he said, it doesn't mean because we're here. I'll speak for myself because I'm here. It doesn't mean that I don't wake up, like I said, some days like I don't know, you guys. It just happens. But I believe those are times where we can grow and heal the most if we try to figure out what in the hell is going on.
Right.
Why am I here? Why am I feeling? And remember, feelings are just that.
That's it.
Feelings are just feelings. If you kick me, I'm gonna feel hurt. I'm gonna hurt. Things happen, life happens, but don't let your feelings direct you down a path that was not meant for you. It's just a feeling. So I'm done. You want to close
Namaste,
it out?
folks. Yeah, we really appreciate you guys tuning in to B2G Unity TV for all your needs, all your good needs. We're gonna have Coach Dion with the meditation as well, doing Shannon's cookies, all that good stuff. So a lot of stuff to come, man. A lot of stuff to come.
You
Um,
want to tell them about you're on what's today? Thursday. Y'all are on Sunday?
Sunday, yes,
Okay.
Sunday. We'll,
Okay.
we'll, we'll be back on Sunday, 70 at 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. Conversation with Trent and friends. That's Shan, myself, and Coach D. Come every Wednesday and then Sunday. So
Right.
on the
And if
B2G
you guys
Unity
haven't
TV.
liked the pages, our pages, please go over and invite others.
Yeah,
I'll be back on, as far as I know, every Tuesday at 7. However, I might move what I'm doing to the early hours because at 7, 8 o'clock, I'm asleep. So 4 a.m., 5, I'm up.
good
So
stuff.
I may
Good
be
stuff.
moving mine to a morning show
Good
podcast.
stuff. Good stuff. So we got some great things, man. And actually, I'm excited. I don't want to talk about it, but she's gonna kill me for this. I'm gonna put it out there a little bit to throw the bait out there. She's working on a game show. She's working on a game show that I love. She and I played it back and forth one another, and I think that would be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. That game show thing she got, and I can't
You're gonna have
disclose,
to
give
push me on
details.
that because um and oh Lord, we could just talk forever. You guys, I'm a thinker and I'm a perfectionist. So
Is
that's
she
dangerous. Like I will work hours on something that should have taken 5 minutes. I'm working
pretty
on it.
much
But I'm also a deep thinker. I think about what I think about. I think about the decision I made. I think about things before I say it because it's crazy. It's crazy. And my life language, I put the site out there. My life language actually answered that question for me because I used to think that what is wrong with me? And when I got it on paper, understanding came. So you're going to have to help me with that because I feel like I'm
well,
ready
I will because I
to,
mean, you know me, I'm the total opposite. If I feel it,
right. You'll
I'm
just
gonna
jump
pull the
out. And
trigger. I'm gonna pull that
I
trigger.
want it to be damn near perfect, but I also want to cross my T's and dot my I's because I
Uh,
truly believe as it relates to mindfulness, mental feelings or whatever, this will be powerful in helping people identify with some
with
trauma, with some,
themselves,
yeah, with themselves. So we need to really, that probably needs to be one of the first things that we try to start pushing. Because I think
guys.
it's my idea and I'm gonna be a little whatever here. It's a damn good idea.
It really is. It really is. I
So
enjoy playing the game with
yeah,
you, so it
yeah.
really is. So, folks, again, b2gunitytv.com is the spot for all your encouraging needs. You get the conversation with Trent and friends, you get Shan's cookies, you get Coach D's meditation, all that good stuff. And we got the co founder here, Tammy, every single Tuesday now.
Okay, we can't go. Mark said he needed me to read something. Let's see. Oh, I think you're talking about this one. Am I right? Is this right, Mark? If so, let me know. I don't think I read this one. I also think some of us have biased associates, friends, and family. When I chop it up with my close circle of fam and friends, I tend to be non partial. I wish enough to be, what did he say? I'm wish enough, Mark, I'm coloss on this one, enough to be Switzerland. Because a real friend doesn't always choose your side. Oh, they tell you what it is in
What you
truth
need to hear.
and with grace.
Right.
Exactly. Of course. I hope that was the right one. So if it's not, let me know right away so that we can read it. I
Absolutely.
agree because yeah, baby, we do have some fake people and that just wanna they'll listen to what you say, agree with you, hang up the phone and be like, girl, or whatever. Man, you know
Exactly.
what she just said? Right. But
And
again,
then I'll circle
go
back
ahead.
to the topic. I'll circle back to the topic. Now imagine you having a person like that in your life and you're going through it and you're thinking about doing something to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine having a person like that in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You never get that call. This
Yeah.
is why your life matters.
Yeah. You guys, I'll be honest, I've had to cut some people. I won't say cut. I've just had to walk away from some people that I really love and I really miss. But it just got to be too much. You just get tired of bullshit. And
Exactly.
and you realize that we are not on the same journey. Um and then there was so much judgment from people who you got so much bullshit going on in your life. I'm not judging you. I'm here. And so
Right.
I be honest, I could not anymore. I could not because it would have gotten really bad. So
Right. We'll leave the
I've
folks on
learned.
it with this.
Yeah.
I'll touch on
Trent's
the
ready to
judgment
go,
thing and
y'all,
I'll
if
get
y'all
out of
don't
here.
see this.
So yeah, but when you talk to a friend, you speak to a friend, you get a friend straight talk, and they automatically say that you're judging them. That's not the case. And if
Yeah.
it's coming from a genuine place,
There's a difference,
that's
right?
not the place.
Yeah,
There's a
there's a
difference.
difference.
And if that person constantly say that to you, the problem is not you. The problem is them.
Right. Yeah,
You
there's
got
a
to move
difference.
around.
Yeah, there's a difference in giving you advice and having a real conversation with you versus
Yeah,
judging. And you know, we know the difference. We know.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this has been great. We're not going to start another, I guess, conversation here. Thank you guys for those of you who listen. Share the show if you don't mind, and then be sure to tune in with Coach D, Shan, and Trent on Sunday. Uh, Go over and like the page so that you'll be notified when they're on. And I'll be back on Tuesday, and we'll let you guys know when we're going to do the show on grief, but it will be soon so that we can
Absolutely.
get through 2022. We love you all.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any final words from you?
Oh, no, you guys be epic and check on those circles.
All right. Check on people. Check on people. Thanks, everyone.
Good night, folks.
Good night.